Okay, so we're here in Montauk, New York, and we're with Pat DeRosa, and he likes to be introduced as the 95-year-old saxophonist. How are we doing, Pat?
I'm doing great. It's always good to be back here in Montauk. I used to be back here many years ago with my wife, but she passed away. But anyway, I love being with my daughter and granddaughter. It's a great place to be.
And I met Pat a few years ago when my band was playing. We were playing in the park in Montauk, and his daughter came and asked, "Can my dad come and play with you guys?" And I'd never heard of him before, but he's actually very well known in Long Island. And I said, "Yeah, cool, come bring him on out." And he said, well, at the time he was the 92-year-old saxophone player. And we were playing all kinds of things like the Stones and Pink Floyd, and he was wailing on it, and it was great. We were very impressed.
Oh, it was a great pleasure, and I really thank you very much for including me with your group. They're a great group. I love them.
Yeah, cheers, man. So just where did you get your musical training? I mean, this goes way back into the 1930s or something, right?
Oh, yes. Actually, Actually, I started in elementary school. I think it was the fourth grade. They started teaching instruments, and I was very much involved. I said I wanted to get a saxophone. So my mother and father took me down to the Bowery, and they picked up an old alto. I forgot, I think it was $30 or something. It was a second-hand one. But anyway, that's what I got my start there, and then they saw the interest that I had, and they continued getting me teachers to continue on with my studies.
But this is in the 1930s then, right?
That's right, the 1930s, yeah.
This is back in the days of Leo Gorcey and the Little Rascals.
That's right, exactly. You got it right, yeah. And they took me down to the Bowery. We went to one of these Bowery stores that have sold all these instruments, and picked out an old alto saxophone that they thought was good enough, and that's what I started on, an alto, and I progressed from there in school, and then I took private lessons with some of the great teachers, and that's where I am today. I'll play with anybody.
So you've played jazz mostly, right?
Yes, I was with the different Ray McKinley, Tex Beneke, some of the jazz groups. Yeah, I prefer to do that because I could do it well.
Yeah, but when you get to the rock bands, though, you tend to fit in with today's rock bands, though.
Yes, I have to change my style a little bit. Yeah, but I fit in too. They like what I do, but I have to change my style. It's quite different than the rock bands.
And so other famous bands that you've played with over the years?
Oh yeah. Let's see, some of the bands I played with. I was with Tex Beneke. I was with Wes Morgan. I was with, who else was I with? Tommy Tucker, that's right, I was with Tommy. And I don't know, a few other bands. I can't remember. Of course, I have to excuse me because I'm in my 90s.
Have you played on the radio? You played live, this is before television now. Have you played live on the radio before?
I think I did. I don't remember because it takes me way back. But I think I did one or two shows on the radio. Yes, I did.
And then when would be then you migrated when television came about. Then when would be when you remember being on television?
I guess I must have been about 18. I think when I was on TV. I forgot what band was I with?
I think you might have been on Ted Mack or one of those shows.
Oh, Ted Mack show or something like that. And I progressed from there to Tex Beneke and Russ Morgan and Gene Krupa too.
These are TV shows. I'm not familiar with them, but I'm sure.
Oh, you're a lot younger than I am, so I can understand that. Thank you.
But that's cool. It's nice to know that you've played this is like radio before there was television, and they actually had radio programs, and people would come to the studio audience to listen to the radio program.
That's right. They used to come to the studios, and we would perform, and I would be featured with the bands as such.
So now here we are, 2017,
yeah,
and you're playing on YouTube,
yeah,
and everybody's watching you on the internet now.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure to be on YouTube. I tell you, I'm not familiar with you. Taking good care of me here to show people what I can really do.
Yeah. So Pat's going to play a couple of songs. Him and his daughter are going to play a couple of songs for us. And unless you want to do something for us now?
Yeah, I can do one.
You do a little bit of this now.
All right, sure, I'll do something. I just show my dexterity.
Yeah, go for it, man.
How's that?
That's perfect. That's perfect.
And that was 95. I don't even forget my age here. 95, I think I am.
I think blowing the horn is what keeps you going.
It sure does. It sure does. And thank you for this interview. I really look forward to seeing it.
No worries. Let's go and do the music segment. We're going to do, what song are we going to do?
A-Train.
We're going to do A-Train.
A-Train, right?
A-Train with Pat DeRosa. Okay.
Thank you.
I want to get one more thing from Pat. You said that you were a music instructor at one point.
Yeah, I was a music teacher. Got my master's degree from the, what was the name of school?
Manhattan.
Manhattan School of Music, yes, in New York. And I was teaching for many years and also playing after school at the many gigs I used to get in New York or Long Island, wherever it was, but I was pretty busy. So I think the teachers were getting annoyed with me because I come in a little sleepy in the morning.
But if you find that when you're doing instruction, though, you actually learn more because you're actually reinforcing what you already know, correct?
That is correct. Yes, I am reinforcing what I already know. So it never makes me forget anything. I just keep going.
Okay, great. That's Pat DeRosa, guys. All right, cheers. All right. Pat and Patricia DeRosa on A-Train. We got there's a. I want to hear this backstory about. Now we go into the backstories now. The backstory about John Coltrane.
Oh yes, John Coltrane. He was living in the same area that I was living in. He went to the music store and he said to the owner there, Frank. He says, "Is there anybody around here that can play duets with me?" And Frank looked at him. He was quite astonished. He says, well, wait a minute. He said, I got to think about that. And he says, oh, yeah. He says, Pat DeRosa. He says, he's a music teacher. He graduated from Manhattan School of Music with his master's degree. He says, well, why don't you contact him? And so actually it was a few days, and John contacted me by phone, and I said, come on over and we'll play duets. And that's the way we got together, John and I.
That's a cool story. One more question. Just from the 1930s till now, what would you think would be the biggest change you've seen in the music scene in general? Because you do jazz and everything, but mostly jazz. But what would you say the biggest change in the music scene?
I think the biggest change was that the group started now toward playing for the people instead of playing for themselves like I did. I mean, playing jazz was my thing, but now they're playing for the people, and so there are a lot of more groups out. And actually, it's very difficult. It's not easy to play jazz. You got to know your music. But people are really now dancing a lot more, and I'm glad to see that too.
All right, that's perfect. Okay, great. That's Pat DeRosa and Montauk, guys.
Said you had style. I travel halfway around the world just to see you smile. I always said you had style. I'll travel halfway around the world just to see you smile. Just to see you smile.